All right, good afternoon, everybody. Time for coffee and questions. Skip the coffee because it's a little bit later in the afternoon today. We'll just go to what's the topic. We're going to talk about step drill bits. What do you know about them other than, well, gee, I can drill holes and make holes from small to large. Yes, you can. That's true. The picture here is a nice picture of a lady running a much older kind of a drill press with one heck of a large bit in it. So I thought it was a kind of a cool picture. I went ahead and used it for the intro. And from here, we're going to jump right into calling up some pictures and taking a closer look at step drill bits, where you can buy them. Are they good? Are they bad? How do you use them? And we'll answer some questions. Here we go. Let me throw up the picture. Okay, let's take a look over on the left, and you'll see there are 4 pictures there. One showing you the shank part of it and why it doesn't slip. You can pause the video. You can read this. These are showing you how step drills are made and why you get decent cutting action out of them. Now, the top one above, way up above me, the $13.99, this is from out at Harbor Freight. People criticize Harbor Freight, I keep saying in the videos, but there are some things that are not total junk. These are not the best step drill bits that you can buy, but they work, and I own them. I've got a set of them, and I've used them off and on. Now, I don't use them to go through super thick metal. You know, a lot of times it's sheet metal or it's metal like 1/4 inch or less. A lot of times it's like 14 and 16 gauge, 11 gauge, whatever. And I want to drill a hole in it. And these are nice because if it's in my drill press, I just come down slowly. I make sure I use a good cutting oil and I go through it and I get the hole I want very rapidly. It's nice, easy repeatability. If you have some kind of mechanic or machinist vise on your drill press, I can move this and quickly just keep making the exact same size hole. But they come in a lot of different sizes, and you're going to see there's $13.99, $19.99. Now, the set that I own currently is the $19.99 one. I don't abuse it. I take my time. Again, on the previous video, if you have a drill press, you want to use slow speed. And as you come down by turning that handle, you want consistent pressure, but you don't want to overwork it with a ton of pressure, or I don't care what this thing's tipped with, you're going to burn it out and you're going to ruin it. I mean, just take your time, slow speed on your drill press, come down nice, consistent, slow, and use a good lubricating oil. And these will last you and they will work. And I've had this set for about 8 months plus now, the latest set I bought anyway, and it's still working really good. But I'm going to stop, throw up some new pictures, and let's discuss some other ones that could be even better quality. Okay, now this ad I pulled off of Amazon, and I wanted people, they asked me, would I buy this set? Yes, I would. I didn't come across it at the time. When my step drills, when I get rid of these, when they're not useful to me anymore, I have this on my kind of wish list or whatever that I'll buy these next. I'm going to try them. I mean, it's only $8, $9 more than what the one out at Harbor Freight is. You get a few extra in here. And you also get this center punch. Now, center punch would be nice if I'm going to hand drill, or even if I'm using my drill press to drill through sheet metal a lot of times, whether it's 14 gauge, 16 gauge, whatever. This is nice, and it's carbide tipped. So I can take and put it on there, and I can press down, and it will make that click, and it'll make that nice little divot hole, that punch hole that you need. That keeps your drill bit centered as you're coming down with your drill press, or even if you're using, a hand drill. These are very handy to have. So I figured the next time around, I'm going to buy this set. I don't know anything about it. It's gotten really great reviews. It's got you can see up on top, there's always going to be a negative on everything that anybody has. I mean, if I don't see like a ton of negatives about something, and most people are, ranting and raving about it, a lot of times I go ahead and give it a try, and I just realize there's always going to be some negatives. These got, almost 5-star review. And so I figured I'm going to give it a try. It's $9 more. I'm just going to add it on to the next shipment and see. I felt it was a good deal. I felt that it was worth talking about here in the video. So anyway, what I'll do is, if you read the reviews, there's a handful of people that are like, hey, they suck. It's cheap Chinese junk. It's this, it's that. And they criticize it. Now, there's a ton of other people that say, hey, this is great. I'll let you know when I buy it. I'll do a review on it. I'll throw it up. I'm just mentioning it right now because it seemed to be a fairly good bargain for what it is, and I'll just have to wait and see. I currently don't own it, like I said. So let's move on. Let's take a look at some of the ones that I do own and I do use. Okay, sorry. Somebody asked if I could explode a view of what this automatic, center punch looked like with a carbide tip. Here it is above me. And you can see on the bottom where they take it apart and shows you it's spring loaded. And then you can take a look on the top, and they kind of magnified it a little bit to show you what it'll do when it hits, and it creates that sharp punch or that little divot, that little tiny hole that you need for centering your drill bit when you're coming down and drilling out. Okay, let's go ahead and move on, and I'll show you what I did buy and what I do use, and it's great. Okay, now this is a set of those step drill bits that I currently own. And these three actually will do everything that I want it to do in terms of drilling those holes. And I've even drilled, I mean, fairly close up to, 1/4 inch. But when I do, again, don't use these wrong. I mentioned this in a previous video. I had a friend that burned up a set of ones out at Harbor Freight. And he told me, see, hey, look, it's just Chinese junk. You shouldn't buy this stuff. And so then I went over and I just showed him, take your drill press, open it up, set it to the lowest speed or low speed. Okay, get yourself some cutting oil, and then let's try this again. And so I had one of mine, and so I said, watch, let me just show you. And with it set slow, I came down, and like I said, a slow, consistent speed with good cutting oil, and I had no problem. And I don't bear down on it and try to hurry up and crank through it, which is what he was doing. Anyway, back to this, Milwaukee. It's a fantastic set. No, I didn't pay $79 for it. I happened to get it right around the $50 area. It was on sale. I would tell you, search around, see what you come across. I've had these now for over a year. And yes, I still have the Harbor Freight ones. So, I mean, I go back and forth on what I use. I guess it just depends. But until those Harbor Freight ones, get, ruined or they burn out on me or whatever, I'll keep using them. It's just a matter of using them correctly. It's not total junk, the ones from Harbor Freight. Maybe you don't want to spend the $50. So, you want to go down and get the $20 ones and call it done, because it's going to serve, the purpose for you on the weekends, a weekend warrior garage type. They'll work. But again, take my advice, just use them, correctly, and you should be okay with them. Okay, so somebody wrote the comment. I mean, hey, you didn't mention anything, about cutting fluid or oil or anything like that to use when, you're using the drill press and going through the motions of what you're talking about. Okay, I was at a garage sale and I picked up a couple of older cans of both these products I'm going to talk about. This one's Tap Magic cutting fluid. It works great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Do I use it all of the time? I use it and I keep it near my drill press. So yes, I do. There are times where I've just used like gear oil or a real thick, motor oil. I don't use WD-40. I wouldn't do that. I mean, you need to go back and watch the video that I did on WD-40. You'll understand why WD-40 is not a lubricant of choice, especially when it comes to, cutting steel or using them on a drill press. This is a good deal. I got it off Amazon. It's manufactured by Fournet, and currently it's $9.49, and it ships free, of course, if you got, Prime. So let me throw up the next picture and we'll go to the questions. Hang on just a second. I also came across, at the same garage sale, I didn't pay much of anything for this stuff, 50 cents or whatever, a container. The guy was just dumping stuff out like they do at garage sales. He just looked at some old can of oil or bottle laying around and didn't want it. Anyway, it's called True Tap HD cutting fluid. This is also a really good one. It gets great reviews. It gets 5 stars. So if you're looking for cutting fluid, there are a lot of cutting fluids out there, that will do fantastic. Okay, these aren't the only two. They just happen to be the two that I've used, and they do work incredibly well. Okay, let's go straight into the questions. Cutting fluid. Okay, well, we just talked about that. I can't speak for all of them, just for the, the two that I have, and the fact that, no, I don't always use them. I use, like I told you, gear oil and other stuff. Okay, next question. Are there better manufacturers for step drill bits? Well, yeah, but you can pay $80 and up, and and it starts getting fairly expensive. I'm not using them like in production work where I got to use it every day, and I keep going and keep going and keep going. I'm doing it intermittently, so I don't want to run out and spend $80 and $100 on a step drill bit set. So these work fine for me. I've used them, and that's the reason why I threw them up for review. And it's a pretty significant cost savings. If you can get away like I am, I'm pushing up close to 8 months to a year on the Harbor Freight ones. And, my other ones that come in the little set, those Milwaukees, I've had them for quite a while. I use them over and over and over. As long as you're using them correctly, I'm still using them. So I don't want to spend that kind of money, to answer your question. Do you need a floor drill press? No, you could use them on a benchtop drill press. You could use them in a hand drill. But hand drill is a little bit more difficult depending on what you're doing. You still want to use the same steps if you can. Slower speed cutting, good lubricant, consistency in the pressure that you're putting on it, and you're not putting too much pressure. Have I ever burned them up or ruined a set? Yes, I have. The first set I got out at Harbor Freight, I probably didn't learn, okay? And I put them in my drill press, and I cut, I don't know, 10, 15 pieces of steel, or maybe less, and I actually destroyed the cutting part of it on one of them. I mean, I ruined it flat out. I still have it out there, and I'll tell you why I didn't throw it out yet. It reminds me that I'm not as smart as you think, okay? And that when I get something, I should spend more time. I should learn about it, listen to what other people that use it all the time have to say, and I'd probably will get more longevity out of things. So it's a learning lesson. I probably, like I said, just a handful of times, and I destroyed that thing. I was mad. I was sitting there, like everybody else, this Chinese piece of junk, and rattled on. But then I went and bought them again after somebody, that I'm really good friends with said, dude, you're using this wrong. No wonder you're screwing them up. And then he explained to me what I'm explaining to you, and a different experience now. So yes, I bought them again. Okay, your question relates to the difference between wood and steel. For steel, this is what we're talking about in this video. For wood, to answer your question, kind of another video, I use Forstner bits. I have a lot of different sizes, and I've got different size hole saws. They're made by a high quality company. Those are for much larger holes or deeper holes. But no, I'm talking primarily metal here. Are there places to buy cutting oil in bigger containers and cheaper? Well, if you buy them in bigger containers, if it's any good, I don't know if you're going to get it cheaper. You're going to spend more money. These are just off of Amazon, just to give somebody some really quick guidance on where you can go and hurry up and buy it. You could look around. There's probably a lot of other cutting fluids and oils that are equally as good, and you might find them at a better bargain. I don't know. I'm just showing you this is what it looks like. This is what it's used for. And you can get them here quickly if you want to. A lot of people belong to Amazon and have Amazon Prime. That's my only point. It's not to sell you the particular product. It's just to give you an example of what is cutting fluid. Well, I just showed you two examples. Yeah, your question's a little off topic. You're asking me, what I think you should do about getting a drill press. Well, what I think you should do is look, this is my advice. Okay, do what you want. Go buy a brand new one. It's up to you. But I like looking on Craigslist. I look for some of the old time machines, and I know that I can restore them. Depending on the damage, I go look at them, and I get them ridiculously cheap. I gave one to my son that was it was damaged. I refurbished it. I painted it. It's a fantastic working one. He lives up the hill. I believe he uses it, and it works great. And it's multi-speed. He can slow it way down or speed it up depending on how he sets the belts. Those are good machines. So you can get, the bench top if that's what you want. Craigslist, I think, is a good choice. Older machines, I love them, okay? And I would get them all the time if I could and restore them. They're great. If you want one, look there. You might get a bargain on like one that somebody bought and they just found out they don't want it and they don't want to use it and it's cluttering up their garage. And so, it's like bargain hunting. And so why pay full price? But take a look around. Okay, I'm the home handyman. I'm going to wrap this video. It wasn't meant to be long. This is your tip of the day, and I'll see you on the next video. And I keep pushing those YouTube requirements. So help me out and click subscribe. And thank you, folks. Bye-bye.